thousands of one-on-ones over the almost 17 years now that I've been here. And nothing I love more than that because our brain is so much more powerful than we give it credit for. And this is something that Rory helped me a lot with when I was younger, my father-in-law, and a couple people. So I'm going to play a very quick video here that explains a theory and a mindset, and then I'm going to break it down into how this has helped me in my life and how I think it can help you. And it's going to tie perfectly in to what Rory just had you all do by volunteering there. So let me do sound. This was on X or Twitter, whichever you prefer.
Most people don't get the things they want out of life for this very reason. You want to rewire your brain. Have you ever heard of the black coffee theory? The black coffee theory goes that you go to a coffee shop and you really want a latte. But when you get up to the barista, she asks what you want and you say, I don't know, I just know that I don't want a black coffee. She asks again, but what do you want? You say, I don't know, I just really know that I don't want a black coffee. The barista walks away confused. She's dealing with multiple orders. And when it comes time to get yours, the only thing she can recall is black coffee. A few minutes go by and a black coffee lands on your table because that's all you talked about. And most people are living their lives this way, even if they're not vocalizing it. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be stuck in a feeling of lack. I don't want to feel invisible. I don't want to feel angry. Even if you're not vocalizing it, you're internalizing those feelings. Whatever you don't want in life, if you focus on that, be prepared to receive it the most. You need to be specific, very specific about what you want out of this life. You want a latte. The black coffee has nothing to do with it. Most people don't get the
All right. Very short, very sweet, but here's how I want to break that down. One, some of you all know I love coffee, but it has nothing to do with the coffee part to that. If you guys really think about that and understand what they're saying there, and this is a psychology theory that's been around forever. It's so much easier when I talk with people in one-on-ones to decide what you don't want, right? I've done so many interviews, I've done so many one-on-ones where people say, "Well, I just don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. I just don't want my kids to, not have what they want. I don't want my, kids to have to stay in aftercare, or I don't want this." And that's mostly what I hear. And a lot of y'all don't watch my 5 a.m. club videos, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. And I get that. But the reason I do that, and I talk to people about this on a one-on-one, is the reason I write my goals down every single day is because I had to rewire my brain. Because when Rory and I mean, I knew Rory long before I started working here, but when we started working together, that's what I used to say, right? When I started, I had graduated college, but I was in massive amounts of debt, and I could not find a career, and I was blaming the recession, right? And so I was saying, it's not my fault. We're in a recession and this and that. And I said, I don't want to be in debt, Rory. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And whether he realized it or not, he kept changing my mindset on that. And this applies to clients as well, right? If you study the PEC and the psychology of it, which I'm not telling any of you all to do, but if you truly understood why over the course of the years, all the experience Rory has selling, all the experience Henry has selling, all the experience I have and Grant has, and all the powers combined there of understanding, even when you're talking to your clients, instead of getting them to say, I don't want my kids to be left with a financial burden, shifting that to painting that mental picture of what they actually want their beneficiaries to receive. That's how we get somebody who's 72 and uninsured to make a decision. And so when you hear me talk every single day in my 5M, I'm always talking about this, and I know people think I'm beating a dead horse. But when I write my goals down every single day, I write them down because that affirmation of what I'm trying to accomplish, your brain is going to focus on your thoughts, even if you don't say them out loud, because a lot of us use this in sales stuff, right? So you have to be specific with it, and it really kind of boils down to the law of attraction. And so the original concept to the black coffee theory is that the human brain cannot comprehend the negative. It's truly incapable. Your brain cannot comprehend the negative. It's in the original, I think, route to probably what he's talking about there, and who knows, but this is what I think it is a theory that I actually learned about in school back in the 80s. And here's basically how it breaks down. If I say to all, there's 160 people here on the call this morning. If I tell all of you all, don't think about a pink elephant, was anybody capable of not thinking about a pink elephant? And you can Google that. There's a pink elephant theory. It's a very, very famous psychological theory. That's what your brain does. Your brain is incapable of not thinking about what you tell it not to think about, right? And so you have that aha moment where you're talking about if you reinforce things when they're in the negative. And so here's what that is, whether it's the pink elephant or the black coffee. Too often I talk to people. I see it in group me's. I hear it talking to coaches, one-on-ones, even a group accountability text I had yesterday. I can't get 5 hours. I can't close. I can't sell. I can't win President's Challenge. I can't win Kings. Why didn't you opt in to Kings and Queens? Well, I couldn't. I can't get 10,000. That's the number one thing I hear people say. Now you hear me say this morning, 5 hours is 100% guaranteed. There is a 0% chance that if you just do the things you need to do, that you won't get 5 hours. Right? I'd bet we Grant and I used to do this thing when telesales was only in the call center, and it was crazy. Grant was so nervous first time he did it, and he took $501 bills and he sat down next to an agent and he had the $501 bill sitting there, and it was every time you weren't dialing or you weren't talking for more than 60 seconds, I'm going to remove $1. And at the end of the week, you can either take the money that's left and I'll keep your commission check, or you get the commission check and I'll just keep my cash. And Grant and I had worked on this a long time. Grant never gave the cash up because somebody was always going to keep the commission check. But it was just having that accountability and having that mindset of I can do this because I'm going to sit here and Grant's going to sit here with me and I'm going to dial. Right. And so if you change from I can't get 5 hours, I can't close, I can't sell to I'm going to keep doing this. Right. I'm going to dial today. I'm going to put my activity in. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to take my passion for what we do. You got to be passionate about it. And through the phone, be able to push that onto a client and potentially change the trajectory of somebody's life. Like sometimes we get so focused on, I got to pay bills this week, that we forget the impact that what we do has. I've had so many clients pass away. I've been doing it 16 years. It happens. That's why we do what we do. And I always remind people I've never had a beneficiary call me and say, are you James? Yeah, this is James. My mom, Mary Sue, had your name as the insurance agent. Did she have insurance with you? Yeah, oh yeah, Mary Sue. Yeah, she had 15,000. You must be Sarah. She had used your beneficiary. And the reaction's never been, how dare you? I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to report you to this and that. I cannot believe you let my mother take out a life insurance policy and leave me 15,000. You're a crook, you're a scam, you're this or that. It was never that. It was always tears. Sobbing tears, being like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, your mother loved you enough that she put this in place to make sure that you didn't have to worry about it. Oh my God, I had no idea what I was going to do. The funeral home saying I need this money and the transportation and the this and the that and I can't figure this out and there's the bank account, the bank won't let me have access and I don't know what's with the house and I'm so overwhelmed. And you just like that's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. And so I have to remember that and why I do it. But then on the flip side, I have to know what my why is, right? And you guys have to be so focused on that. I don't know if Josh Bell's on the call or not, but I had him read this book that I read, and it's not really important to what we're talking about, but the theory of that was it's a book called You Need More Money, and it was the concept that my life over the past 16 years, and Rory and Grant and Henry know this better than most, has not gone how I would have predicted it. Some of you all might look at it and say otherwise, but my wife was who is much smarter than I'll ever be, and was a very successful lawyer. And when my first son was born, she had a very traumatic childbirth, and she's had some very, very drastic health challenges. Yesterday, I had to take her to the hospital and deal with the doctor, Roy and I know, and all this stuff. And I don't let it affect what I do here at all. I was still able to accomplish everything I had to accomplish here and all that. But the amount of financial need I've needed in order to take care of her, in order to take care of my parents basically are our clients. And so therefore, I don't want them to live like our clients. So I've got to support them. My father-in-law, who was a big mentor to me, he passed away much too young. A lot of things have happened in my life that have put me in this perspective to where it's not what I've wanted, but I know that every single day when I wake up, I write these things down because I don't want black coffee. I want a latte. And every single day I wake up and I know that I want a latte, and there is no doubt in my mind that that's what I want, and I know what I need to do to accomplish it. And nothing frustrates me more than talking to an agent and doing one-on-ones and having somebody say, I'm going to do it, and then letting frustrations or letting doubt or letting like, ugh, you know what? Nobody's answering today. I'm just gonna let me take a break. Let me go for a walk. Let me take a nap. Let me watch a movie and get my mind right. And then tomorrow you'll see. It never happens, right? Like your brain is such a powerful tool and it's in, like I said, cannot comprehend the negative. And so we all have to shift that because if everybody that's listening to this call this morning actually went from here, went to your breakout rooms with your team, and then at 9:01 got on the phones and said, nothing is going to get between me and my goal today, then every single person on this call would have 5 hours. Every single one. And 5 hours becomes your floor. 5 hours becomes like, well, I put 110% in today, but I only got 5 hours in 16 minutes. But pat myself on the back because I did that. And just like string becomes the worst week you have when everything falls in, you got COVID or the kids are sick or whatever it is, and you only end up with 2,800 AP, that becomes your worst week. But too often the goal when I talk to people is I'm going to get string this week. And it's like string can't be the goal. String's got to be my worst week in 52 weeks was just barely getting string. And when you're consistent with that and you have that, like, and here's where I'm going to end it, and then I'm going to send you guys a break room. I have a goal of finishing my pilot. I have my learner's permit for becoming a pilot. Because of life and my wife and my kids and all that stuff, I really just haven't had much time to do it now. But a big thing when you're getting lessons from an instructor, and this is also with skiing too, but with pilots, a pilot instructor will never tell you to avoid the obstacle. Because if you are looking out a windshield and they say, don't go to that obstacle, then your brain automatically only focuses on the obstacle. I've gotten into skiing lately. My son really enjoys it. And it's a passion of his. I didn't get to do it as a kid, so I enjoy doing it with him. I know Roy went skiing a lot in his younger age, and my son loves to go through trees. And the instructor, and unbeknownst to him, was using the same theory, right? And so with skiers, if you go skiing in trees, which I do not enjoy doing, but my son very much enjoys doing. Roy probably did it when he was out there all the time. If all you say in your brain is don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't, yeah, Andre knew it. Boom. That's the Colorado in you, Andre. There's not a single ski instructor that's worth anything that will tell you don't hit a tree. Because if you tell your brain don't hit a tree, what is your brain going to focus on? It's the pink elephant. All you'll
The
focus on is
tree.
the tree. And if your eyes are looking at the tree, what is your body going to go towards? The tree.
Right to him.
But I'm so glad Andre's here. Not a lot of skiers, I guess. But what the instructor will tell you, and then your brain changes, is focus on the path. Why? Because there's a path between the trees. And if your eyes look at the path, the trees disappear. And that's the point I'm trying to make to everybody this morning. That's the latte. Focus on the path, and the path will get you through the trees, right? It's the path, not the trees. And that's the affirmation. Your career can be whatever you want, your life can be whatever you want, but you have to speak it the right way in order to put yourself in the right mindset. And your brain is the most powerful tool, and it cannot comprehend the negative. So do not be negative today.